Mr. Serrano, I'm sorry you were here first here and had to be the last. I do apologize.
That's okay, Mr. Chairman. And thank you and to all the other committee leaders for allowing the three non-members of the committee to participate. Uh, I was very interested in Mr. Gutierrez's statement because I'm not going to say that he says the same thing I've been saying. That would be unfair, but it sounded similar to something I've been saying all along, which is what we're doing here, and I'm part of it, and what we will do by March 31st, hopefully, and I'm part of it and support it, is putting a Band-Aid on a larger problem. The problem is the status of Puerto Rico. As long as Puerto Rico is a colony of the United States, these kinds of issues will recur and recur and recur. The only solution is to resolve the political status. 117 years is a long, long time for Puerto Rico to be a colony, and it's about time that it ended, and I'm supportive of anything that ends the colonial status. As long as the people who are much brighter than I on this issue come to me and say, Puerto Rico is no longer a territory of the U.S., then whatever the change is, I'll be fine with. And I think I'm hearing more and more and more folks who were opposed to change saying we don't have the power, therefore we need change. And that is very important. Mr. Williams, Mayor Williams, I lived with you the whole time. I was chairman and ranking member of the subcommittee. First subcommittee on appropriations when D.C. was a committee by itself, if you recall those days, and then when he became part of financial services, where I'm ranking member now. And I have to tell you that when members spoke to within ourselves, which we often do, regardless of what the public thinks, you got a lot of credit for what happened in D.C. because you did something that I want should not be lost on this argument, at this hearing, which is you demanded respect for Washington with a control board, but you were willing to work with the federal government to resolve the problem. Let me repeat that. You demanded respect, and I remember you in front of us at the committee hearing saying, you're asking me to do something that is not dignified for the people of Washington, D.C., while understanding that you had to work with us. And many, many, many people said at that time, members of Congress, who were not crazy about D.C. You know, D.C. has always been the place that people beat up on, said that you deserved a lot of credit, and I think the history books will say that besides the Nationals, you did a lot for this city during that period of time, and I applaud you for that. But incidentally, Mr. Chairman, all the city council members who gave him a hard time about the Nationals showed up on opening day, because I was there, and they were they were taking credit for it. Mr. Meyer, I'm a little confused. According to my information, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you're a member of the National Bankruptcy Conference, is that correct?
That is correct.
But the conference supports Chapter 9 extensions to Puerto Rico, and you do not.
That is also correct. I abstained from the debate at the conference on that topic, and my views are not the views of the conference.
Okay, and the conference knows that you're testifying, or that you disagree with them and they're testifying in that way, saying that you do not support Chapter 9 while the conference does.
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, just a note. Our biggest challenge will not be finding a solution or getting what the Speaker Ryan has promised to take place. It's going back to the same issue of how do you give the territory the needed assistance while not making it more of a colony, not more colonialism. And you're going to have members of Congress who are not going to think that way, who are going to say, if they're going to get help, they have to pay. Well, an oversight board is fine. The President Commissioner has said that oversight is fine. Oversight exists already. Every single dollar that goes to Puerto Rico or to any state or to any municipality, you have to answer to the federal government for it. you have to answer to the Appropriations Committee for it. That should be the case. But to bring Puerto Rico on its knees when it's already on one knee would be just to add more pain to a situation that is very painful. I find myself in a unique situation. I was born in the colony, and now I'm a member of Congress of the group that holds the colony. And so sometimes, I think Puerto Ricans need a national psychiatrist to deal with this issue of how we deal with both issues at once. I mean, we love the place we were born in. We love the place whose army we served in and we grew up in. I came to New York when I was 7 years old. But I think it's about time that the place I was born in settled the issue of the place I was raised in, solve the issue of the place I was born in. And I think you could go a long way because, Mr. Chairman, you've been a very strong supporter. You've gone a step forward, above and beyond. You've actually asked for statehood for Puerto Rico. But the strongest point you've made is that you want change, dignity, and respect. And I thank you for that, both as an American and as an American who was born in Puerto Rico. And one who lived in Alaska. And by the way, this may be a hearing about Puerto Rico, but you notice it's gotten colder as the hearing went on. That's the influence of the Alaskan chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank you, Mr. Serrano. Appreciate it.